My name is Four, and I've been making creepy things since I was a fat-headed little kid. I've also been poor since I was a potato-domed troll child, so with those powers combined, I discovered cheap ways to make practical effects. This is Making Crafts with Four. Fuck, I hate glitter! Today's episode is Making Babies. Wait, I mean music. First of all, you gotta get some stuff. At this point, anything that makes sound. I know that sounds crazy, but as you can see here, I have one of those really crappy drum sets from Walmart for like, I don't know, $10 or $20, something like that. The kid ones, the like start out ones, I can't remember what they're called, but real drumsticks that I have wrapped actually in some pipe warmer things that for your house that keep your pipes from freezing up during the wintertime. And I did that to keep a muffled sound. I also have some regular plastic drumsticks for a different sound altogether. Some crappy weird ones with rubber tips to get another different sound. Just different sounding instruments and different sounding things to hit them with. You'll need a microphone, obviously, to record with, because you can't record things without a microphone and like a computer. Fun fact, I used to actually use a karaoke machine and all kinds of weird things. But then you beat the crap out of everything and record it on your program. I use Sony Vegas right now for recording music, which doesn't make sense. It's actually a video editing program, but okay. It's pretty self-explanatory. You get yourself a beat in mind. Make sure you have some rhythm. If you don't have rhythm, you might look into something kind of like a metronome, which is a thing that just makes a tick, 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 tick in time. Or if you can find something that has a time to it, some kind of a constant beat, and just make sure you're on time with that. What you want to do, though, is change your instrument beating utensils to change the sounds that you're getting and layer them on top of each other. This will create depth to your sound. I'm using different drums, different instrument beaters, I don't know what you'd call them, different sticks, different drumsticks, different, I don't know, beaters. That's what I'm going to call them, beaters. And you just beat the crap out of absolutely everything, repeatedly, in the same basic pattern of what you were doing earlier, the same basic beat. Don't repeat the same beat exactly. You want to vary it up a little bit with each thing to give it a variety of sound and more depth to sound again. This will keep it interesting. This won't keep it boring. It'll give it a lot more variety in the actual sound itself. And then you just change out what you're beating on. The contraption here, I actually built out of an old electric box and springs and guitar strings. And it just rattles and bangs like an old hooker. Wait, can I say that? Yeah, let's just pretend I didn't. So beat it like it owes you money, also. Very applicable term in this case. And you just repeat this process as many times as you feel comfortable, like you need it. Because the more you do this, and the more times you layer this, the more time, or the more you'll get out of it. The different variety and sound, you'll just make tons of crazy stuff. Then you get into creepy sounds. If you don't like high-pitched nail sounds on boards, you're going to want to skip. Sorry, skip to some other time here. Oh, Jesus. Just hurt your soul, doesn't it? Oh. But here's the deal. I found this is actually a piece of a heater. Like heating duct. And a garden utensil. And it allows me to get you that horror sound, that metal scraping metal. Beautiful sound. After you repeat your creepy sounds, things like that, unless you're a mime, you just use your voice It is one of the most versatile instruments as a human being that we have to our availability. And in fact, if you can beatbox or anything of that nature, you can even use it for drums.
And you make big boat noises.
But you can use it to make a multitude of noises that can help you in your creation.
Whoa.
And here I'm being an idiot. You'd be surprised what you can end up with. This is seriously the hardest part. Not because it's complicated, but because of how boring and tedious it becomes. In all your programs, any of the programs you're going to end up using, whatever you settle on and you feel comfortable using, you will have a multitude of effects and altering abilities to your availability. Here I'm pitch shifting. I'm just dropping the pitch, not changing the length of the actual sound of that take. I'm just dropping the pitch a couple to make it deeper and, darker sounding. Then I'm going to put on some reverb to give it that echoey, ooh, I'm in a cave or some crap sound. This is what's going to give the song more depth and more epicness. Obviously, you can hear that already transpiring. And the more you tweak this, the more you work with this, and the more, here's an equalization to it. I'm just going to bring up the bass a little bit, bring down the treble a little bit to give it a little bit, heartier sound. And you end up doing this with all your instruments individually, one by one, before you mix them all down, before you blend them all together. This is it plain, and with all the effects. Totally different sounds. And here it is with it actually being rendered, and here's what it actually sounds like as the sound. Because the other time you were listening to it, it's all from my camera. I'm sorry I had to actually film from my camera onto my computer screen because I'm lame. Already you can hear, though, a lot more depth and a lot more to it than just some lame drum. Sounding pretty good so far. Then we just repeat this process, playing with different styles or different sounds, different effects, different whatever we're comfortable with. Each sound, just give it the best that you feel is necessary for what it is. If it's a mid-range style sound, just work with it in mid-range frequencies and mid-range everything to give it that best quality you can. If it's a higher end frequency stuff, and just work with what you got, work with what you know, work with what you're comfortable with, work with what sounds good. That's what's important. This is another one. Same basics, a little bit higher. I kept it higher, but I did drop the pitch a little bit. I didn't want to match it because I wanted it to be different. I wanted to give it depth. I wanted to give it a lot more than just the same stuff over and over again. It was a different beater on the same drum, giving it a little bit different tones, giving it a little bit different shape to the sound anyway. Then with what I'm doing here, I'm shaping it even more. Together, they sound totally different, You repeat this process with the same thing, same thing with every single instrument, even the weird, creepy, screechy sounds, metal on metal. All I'm doing here is I'm going in and I'm allowing it to be stretched and slow down. And so it's actually going to go darker and be creepier. And then I'm going to move it over a little bit so it starts it out. Gives it that intro where it brings it in. And I end up doing this with the whole thing. Every sound, every piece, even my vocal work, I end up putting, a lot of reverb on it. So here we go. This is just my vocals sounding really cheesy, really terrible. Put a little reverb on it. I'm dropping And there we go. It's a haunting, weird sound. You know? That however many more effects with the distortions, with some of the choruses, with some of the other effects available, you wouldn't even know it was a voice. You would think it was some kind of weird humming, some kind of haunting of, synth or something to that effect. As far as the rest of it goes, to build up with your some of your rises or some of your big hits, all that kind of stuff, you can easily take your voice, reverse some of the effects if you have that ability, as in bringing them in, build it up, layer them on top of each other, make them really beefy, really epic, change the pitches, change the shapes, change the sound structures, add distortion, add choruses, add echoes, add, reverbs. Play with the sound until you get what you think is perfect. Really, what makes this step the worst is trial and error, the tedious hours you'll put into doing this. But in the end, it's really well worth it. To save you the trouble of watching me for 4.5 hours, here's what the final product sounds like. I might add a lot of cut, copy, paste, a lot of rebuilding went into this. This is just hours of me playing with it and getting out of it what I wanted. And here we go. If you like what I'm doing and you want to see more, please like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon for updates. Feel free to share this with your film buddies or anybody you might think would enjoy it. And thanks for watching.
Look what I made!